We are now live, guys. Yeah.
Hey,
Hey guys, what is up? And welcome back to another episode of T4C Culture TV. I'm your host Hotshot, and today we're going to be reviewing the big game that happened over the weekend on Sunday. We're reviewing Manchester United versus Arsenal. It's not a good day if you're a Red Devil, but it's a brilliant day if you're a Gunner. So I brought in the only two people I know who can give their proper thoughts and their analysis on this big match. So please welcome my special guests, Nitin and Sai. Nitin, what's up, man?
Hey, how's it going?
Yeah, it's a bad day for us. It's a bad week. It's a real bad week. But for you, you must be enjoying a lot.
Yeah, but after a number of years as an Arsenal fan, I've learned to sort of control my emotions because I get too excited and then the next week we come crashing down. So just taking the results with a pinch of salt.
I think
Uh,
we put it so. I think just like Arsenal, we're also a bit hot and cold. We're beating Leipzig 5-0, and then we're going and losing to Arsenal, who just so happened to lose against Leicester the previous week. So, and yeah, it had completely ruined my start of the week, man. I didn't really wake up in the best of moods on a Monday morning, and I had to work, and it was so bad.
I know it wasn't the result, it was the manner in which we lost. I really felt that we could have given more. Our players didn't give 100% on the pitch. And more importantly, our manager did not make the necessary changes to ensure that we at least gave a fight back, which was very disappointing, very disheartening.
I think
So
even if we had given a fight and probably lost, even then I would have felt bad. But I completely felt miserable because I don't know. I don't even what to say. I don't know what to say because it was so bad. Complete contrast to what happened on Thursday. Oh, sorry, Wednesday. So
yeah,
I know that feeling because you must have thought that going into the contest you were favorites, right? And
I didn't just think that because that 5-0 win. I mean, if we had sneaked a 1-0 win against Leipzig, I probably would have been a little bit more, controlled with my expectations. But I did tell you the other day. I did tell you that I don't see Arsenal losing this game. I was sure that we were going to get a 1-1 draw, and that would have been the case, except that it would have been a 0-0 draw. But Pogba decided to take actions into his own hands. So, well,
Yeah, I vaguely remember that because you were
here
making
we
fun
are.
of mine.
Yeah,
Yeah, okay.
but that's the thing.
uh,
That's the thing with Solskjaer setup. I mean, I'm sure we're going to talk about that in the later on in the show. But yeah, but the way we set up was, I don't know. I
Yeah,
don't know what to
talking
say.
about that, so let's go into the lineup straight away. So I think you predicted almost the whole lineup correctly, except for one thing, maybe Van de Beek. Yeah, okay. So just talk about the lineups right now. So what do you think was right and what went wrong in that? Okay. Yeah, go on.
Uh, so yeah, the lineup was okay. To be honest, if you see our previous games against Newcastle and Paris, uh, pretty much the same players started, except that I think we didn't play a diamond against Newcastle and Paris, but we did play a diamond. But that was the thing, though. Uh, it was the worst kept secret was that Arteta was going to come to Old Trafford with 5 defenders, and he was going
yeah,
to try to get a result. And Ole went with a diamond against a three at the back with two wing backs. I don't see how that works because a diamond is a narrow formation. It doesn't give you width, and against three central defenders and two wing backs, you do need width. So we lost that game then and there because Arsenal were compact. They didn't give us any space. Bruno Fernandes was really finding it hard to find any space to feed Rashford or Greenwood, And before I get on, I need to give a shout out to Gabriel. I thought he was my man of the match. It was fantastic, phenomenal. Especially he got booked early on in the game, and the way he controlled the rest of the game and the players, he controlled players. United players. That was amazing. So it was a top class signing for Arsenal, and Thomas Partey. He was just cleaning up everything.
Yeah, it was phenomenal.
Like
Yeah.
yeah, he was a beast in the middle. So yeah, we didn't have any answers. I could give you more than one excuse, but there's not really an excuse per se because
Okay,
Arsenal.
not much about Arsenal. Maybe we
But
first
no,
focus on
Arsenal came with a
United. I
plan.
think.
Well, that's the
Yeah.
thing. Arsenal came with a plan. We thought we had a plan because it worked well against one team, but it didn't work with another team because you knew what he was going to do and you still went with that same lineup. At least I thought he would see that it wasn't working in the first half because first half they were the better team. They had the better chances. We probably had one chance, that Greenwood chance, I think. So I thought he would change it at halftime. He would probably take McTominay off and bring, Cavani in, and he'd put Fred as a deep lying player and Pogba on the left, maybe Bruno on the right. Bruno's been
Yeah.
playing on the right, and then you play Cavani, Rashford, and Greenwood up top. But that didn't happen. Even the subs were
Yeah.
surprising and shocking. I don't know what was going through. Pogba had a really bad game, and I don't know why he wasn't subbed off. And so, same case with McTominay as well. So he stayed on. The both of them played 90 minutes. And funny thing though, my friend pointed out recently McTominay's position. So where would you normally expect him play? Expect him to play? It's just behind or in front of the defenders, right? Sitting there.
Yeah.
But he was close to Fred, who was playing on the right. And Arsenal, they packed one side of the pitch where these two are there. And if you notice, everything was going through their right hand side, I guess, or our left hand side, where these two are there, or maybe the opposite. I think our right hand side and their left hand side, because Tierney was venturing forward, not as much on the other side where Holding was staying put, and Tierney and Saka, they were going forward and they were giving Van Bissaka a tough time. But I'd say we were defensively solid. We offered nothing going forward. Second half, maybe a little bit, but that wasn't good enough. And we set up really defensively as well. So that's not how we expected us to play, especially at home. I mean, our home form is yet another topic for discussion. I don't want to even get into that, but yeah, but full credit to Arsenal, and I think they deserve the win. I don't have any complaints.
It's interesting
Yeah.
that you brought up the position of McTominay because I also wanted to talk about that. But so Fred was supposed to be at the
We'll first
base of
come
your
to you. We'll first come
Sorry?
to the Arsenal lineup first. We'll first come to the Arsenal lineup. Nitin, like what? See, we did not expect the lineup Mikel Arteta was going for because we saw that it was a 3-4-3, but we expected someone like Mustafi to start, but Holding started. And the biggest surprise that when I saw the lineup, I was like laughing. LMAO was Elneny starting. I never thought that he would have such a good game that he completely bossed the midfield along with Partey. So when you saw the lineup, when you saw Arteta's lineup, did you figure out the plan, or were you as shocked as everybody else?
I reacted the same way. We were actually laughing about it in the Arsenal group. We saw
Okay.
Elneny start. We weren't sure if Lacazette should start. There was a question mark what Willian do. Felt good about Holding because that meant that Mustafi wouldn't play.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was as surprised. But I guess maybe as the game went on, I wasn't that surprised by Elneny's performance because he kind of did the same thing in the Community Shield against Liverpool. I mean, we always knew what his strengths were or are.
Yeah.
He's a very tidy passer, doesn't just give the ball away cheaply. The only complaint that fans had with him was that he wasn't adventurous enough with his passing. But it looks like he has really worked on it. Maybe when he was away at Besiktas. He is making a lot more forward passes than he used to. And I thought, yeah, it was just perfect to this setup. Uh, yeah, so I would like to take this opportunity to publicly apologize to El Neni because I'm sure I wasn't the only one, but most of the Arsenal fans, we just wrote him off. We felt he wasn't good enough to play for us, but he's proven us all wrong. So credit to him for that.
Yeah,
Uh,
you have to give the credit a bit to even Arteta. Like he's been trusting in since a long time, so he's been starting in
yeah,
continuously.
and after that game, actually about Elneny, Arteta said he likes players who have zero ego. So we kind of wonder if that's a shot at Ozil, maybe. But
Or Gunduzi, or maybe
yeah,
Yeah.
Gunduzi.
I mean, Elneny, like even if you look at our training pics and videos, I mean, he always seems like such a likable character. Always carries around a smile, has such a good attitude, even if he's not playing. So like a real team player. So uh, I guess we shouldn't be too surprised at his performance. He was phenomenal. Uh, Willian, I think, did help. He came deep to get the ball to sort of create that link between the midfield and the attack whenever needed. Lacazette definitely was better than he was last week against Leicester. Uh,
Yeah.
I thought he created a few chances for us, half chances, but he was definitely not bad at all. Um, Alba, I think that was a huge goal for him because especially in the first half, you could see that he was sort of missing that spark, that
Yeah.
lack of confidence you could see in his gameplay. So I think this goal will do him all sorts of good. Um, I know we've all appreciated Thomas Partey and Gabriel, but another player I really wanted to call out was Bellerin.
Mm.
Uh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he has been really consistent for us this season. We're maybe starting to see his pre-ACL form. He has that sharpness back. He understands the team well, Arteta's instructions well, and he was crucial for us on Sunday.
Yeah, that
You wanted
one
to ask
cross was
Sky
top
about
hatch.
McTominay.
Oh yeah, about the positioning of McTominay. So when the teams, I mean, the lineups were initially out, Fred was supposed to play at the base of the midfield, right? And McTominay was supposed to be on the right side of the midfield. But I think you would have probably noticed in the starting 5 to 10 minutes, they were both occupying the base of the midfield. Was
Pretty
no one
much
on
the
the
same.
right. So an astute manager would have probably either corrected that by calling out McTominay or by just switching the positions. But
I didn't even see this properly, but I was watching another show where my friend was on, and he pointed this out on a tactical board, where he pointed out McTominay's average position was
yep,
right next to Fred
yep.
on a
Yeah.
time and formation.
Yep,
Uh,
Fred's positioning was actually spot on. He was where he needed to be to actually build out from the back for De Gea. Uh, McTominay was the one who was sort of off with his positioning because
and
he
not,
was,
not
I
just
believe, he was
position.
asked to play on the right side of the midfield on that day by Ole,
I
and
think
he clearly didn't.
his uh, his passing was off. I think he had a poor game, and yeah, like I said the other day. Uh, let's talk about Paul Pogba. I mean, what do I say?
Hmm.
Uh, when he came to United, I was so excited. 4 years ago now. Like I said the other day, he is a world class talent, but he's not been consistent enough. Not been putting those performances week in week out. But I really think he's not suited to the Premier League because if you look at his performance in the Champions League and to some extent in the Europa League, he's good because teams do seem to give him time on the ball where he can have a look and pick his pass, but he doesn't get that in the Premier League. Even Pochettino, who came on Monday Night Football, he said Paul Pogba takes too long on the ball, and if you press him aggressively, it's easy to win the ball. How many times we've seen this over the years? People press him, especially when he's playing in a double pivot. He's been pressed and they win the ball, and it's either led to a shot on goal or a direct goal itself. So I'm starting to think that he's not good enough to start in the Premier League, and Donny van de Beek needs to start over him consistently now because I think at this point, I can't even say that Van de Beek is a better player than him because he hasn't got the opportunity. But I'd like to see him play in that midfield before I come to a judgment. But at this time, I don't think Pogba is good enough to start in the Premier League. He did the same thing against Spurs. He did the same thing against Brighton. Thankfully, that was ruled out via VAR, and again on Arsenal. I knew when Bellerin got free and Pogba was chasing him, I knew this was going to be a penalty, and exactly what happened. It was a penalty. I was
Sorry, I do have a couple of questions about Pogba there. Like, what does it say to you as a United fan when you see him give out world-class performances consistently when he plays for France on the biggest stage, but he just isn't able to do the same for United?
That's what I said. I don't think he's suited to the Premier League space. Be it international football or European football, he gets time on the ball where he can pick his passes and choose where to play. But for some reason, he holds onto the ball for far too long, and I don't know why he tries to dribble his way out of trouble rather than playing a simple pass. A lot of times when you watch him on television, or in my case, I've seen him live as well, there's an easy way out for him right next to him, but he doesn't take that option. He tries to do a few tricks, try to dribble his way out all by himself, and he gets caught in possession, and like I said, it either leads to a shot or a goal itself, which isn't ideal. I don't know what goes on between him and the manager, and I don't know what went on the other day, what was said at halftime. I'm sure things would have been said at halftime. But it seems to me like we're trying to please him into signing a new contract, which I don't like. If he doesn't want to be here, we should just let him go, take whatever we get for him. And I'm sure there's another player we could get who is similar and who's more consistent. Pogba is not the end of the world. I mean, yes, we signed him for 90 million and it didn't work out. Fine. It's not like we haven't had flops in this club before. I wouldn't even call him a flop. I mean, I just feel that his space and the Premier League space are not in sync, and he's not suited to the Premier League, and it's getting more and more evident this season. You can't, and Ole was defending him with the COVID excuse. I mean, Ronaldo had COVID and he scored the next day, but he is Ronaldo, but that's not the thing. But the thing is, if he's not fit, why is he starting? So it begs the question again. So yeah, it has gotten to a point where he's costing points to the team, and I'm not making him a scapegoat. We were collectively poor against Arsenal, so this isn't a rant about Pogba. I do like Pogba, I genuinely do, but it's been happening consistently and week after week after week, and I just feel like and someone brought this point, like him and Bruno starting together, and it doesn't work. I don't know, but he's in his last few Premier League games that he's played, let's say 4 or 5, and he's not provided an assist, he's not scored a goal, he's given away 2 penalties, conceded a few fouls. So what's his role there? What is he doing? I was a bit excited towards the end of last season where his partnership with Bruno was really working. We did play some really wonderful stuff after the lockdown, after the league started. But I don't know what's happened with him. But the thing is, like I said, he's always had this. I don't know if it should call it a problem or a habit of holding onto the ball quickly. So for too long. So he should try to release it. I don't know why Ole hasn't had a word with him. Like you said, if it had been Mourinho, he probably would have taken him off the other day. So I don't know.
It's a big problem.
It's a big problem to solve for Ole at the moment, or if Ole goes, whoever is the next manager. But for me personally, I wouldn't keep him beyond this season. If we get a good sum of money from, say, Real Madrid.
I think he himself has stated he's going to has a dream to go to Real Madrid. So I think he won't be staying.
I'd like someone like Camavinga or Zakaria.
Camavinga still will take time to bed in. He's only 18.
He's only 18. He's only 18.
Yeah.
So
18.
So I think, do you remember the other show we did? I said Van de Beek was signed as a replacement for Pogba, but he ended up staying. So that's why Ole is not playing him properly. So I still believe that's the case. So we do have a replacement ready in Van de Beek, who I think if we give him a good run of games will be more consistent. So he definitely has to start against. I mean, he's starting tonight, so I think he's going to start. I mean, he should start against Everton as well. I don't want
Yeah.
Pogba to start against Everton. I mean, they have some good players in the midfield, Doucouré and Allen. So yeah, let's see what Ole does.
So he would have like
Uh,
1 year to go, right, at the end of the season.
Yeah,
Pogba.
yeah. So they triggered an extension of
Just out
another
of
year.
curiosity, what do you think would be a good transfer fee for him?
If we get like 70, 80 million, I'd be great in this market because from what we paid him for him 4 years ago and 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 where the market is now, it's obviously inflated. So 80 million now would be like 40 million in the previous market. So I think that's what we'll get because he only has a year left on his contract. So, and of course, the name Paul Pogba is big. You can't deny that. So, I think he would get us about. I mean, I think we'd get the 90 million or 89 million we paid for him. So yeah.
Nitin, coming to you.
But do you see
Uh,
how dejected I sound? I don't want him to. I want him to do well. I don't want him to go. But it's a sad reality.
he That's his future's still up for debate. I also don't want to see him go, but if he wants to go, you can't force a guy to stay. And his performances are so abject. It's clear that he's not interested for playing for Manchester United because he plays for the France team. The Paul Pogba for the French national team and the Paul Pogba for Manchester United are two completely different people. So it's
I
clear. It's very clear that Paul Pogba does not want to play for Manchester United.
I can clearly count with my fingers the number of good games he's had for United over the past 4 years. Only got 10 figures, and I can literally count. So that says a lot about him. 4 years, he probably would have played about, if you take 50 games average a season, and with injuries and stuff, take away 20, 30 games, about 180, 190 games, more or less, 150 to 160, 170, yeah, whatever. And I can count with my fingers the number of good games he's had. So,
Wouldn't that make him a flop then?
like I said, but he did have a good season overall. After Ole came in, he scored about 18 goals in the 2019 season. So and then he was good during our Europa League victory campaign. But I'm saying performances that were comparable to De Bruyne, that level, he's had about 10 or something in the last 4 years. Pogba was always good in the sense that he's silky and stuff, but that world-class performance where he stood out in a game, I could literally count with my own fingers the number of times he's done that in the last 4 years. Whereas De Bruyne, every time you see him, he's world-class. So that's what you expect out of a. I'm not bringing the price tag at all here. I don't care about how much he costs, but he is Paul Pogba and he's world-class. He's a world-class talent, and this is something that is expected out of him week in, week out. It's acceptable if he doesn't perform for a few games. Every player goes through a rough patch, understandable. But having a good game once in a while and just acting like you don't care or you don't want to be there, that's something. I mean, I'm really disappointed to say the least. Yeah, that's my opinion.
Yeah, Nathan, coming to you, I have a few points actually. So, the first thing, what do you think of Arsenal's performance here?
During this game week?
Yeah, during United match, yeah.
One word: exceptional. Like was everything I had hoped it to be. To be honest, going into the match, I wasn't that confident. I personally felt that the best result would be a draw, maybe 0-0 or a 1-1. So
Yeah.
I was pleased. I could see it right from the first minute. There was intent. There was this pressing. There was this desire to go and win the ball, to dominate, not just sit back and counter. Um, so it was sort of the same setup that we saw earlier against City with some tweaks. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, it was evident right from the start that we weren't just content to sit back. We wanted to have the ball. The stats show that too. We didn't have the ball. We created some decent chances. Uh, I actually feel maybe on another day we might have even won 2-0 or 3-0 because Saka had that great chance with his header inside the
Yeah,
box that he
yeah.
put over.
Bellerin's cross. Yeah, it was a great cross.
But
And
on the flip
Yeah,
side, I
from right.
believe on another day we probably would have nicked it 1-0 if we had, say,
Oh no,
Van de Beek start or something. No, 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 no. I'm not saying
I
we would
don't
have
think
deserved.
so.
No,
you're thinking of
I'm
too
not
many
saying.
ifs there.
I'm
No.
not saying if I'm not saying we would have won 3-0 or something or comfortable win. But like I said, if Pogba doesn't concede that penalty, the game ends 0-0. Honestly, that's what I think.
I think
So
it's a little harsh there on Arsenal to say that you would have nicked it had just Van de Beek started.
yeah,
No,
yeah.
I didn't finish that. I didn't finish that. So if we had started Van de Beek and probably Matic instead of McTominay, and like I said, there are a few ifs there. So like I said,
Got it too.
he got the formation wrong. He shouldn't have played that formation, and I don't know why he was so defensive. And I fully gave the credit to Arsenal at the start of the show, so I'm not taking anything away from you. But I believe that I mean, yeah, I was excited. I'm not going to lie, I was excited to see that lineup. But then after the game started and Arsenal started growing into the game, I saw the pressing. And the thing with Ole though, he doesn't come down to the touchline. He's got his monitor on the chair where he sits in the dugout, and he looks at it. And I think probably McKenna and Phelan, they give out instructions. So I'm not a big fan of that. I'm not saying it's wrong, and he shouldn't. I mean, he should be doing that, but I'd like the manager to be on the touchline, giving away instructions and maybe tweaking something if it's not something is not working. Everybody could see that the formation wasn't working, and we were absolutely dreadful in that first half. I've not, and believe me, I've seen worse halves than that. All those games under Van Gaal and a few games under Mourinho, but that half was just frustrating to say the least, and that would be an understatement. But yeah, go on, Nitin.
Yeah,
Nitin, where did you see the game being won? Was it in the midfield or was it on, like Sai said, Arsenal were exploiting United's flanks. They were exploiting our left hand side because of it was a match made in heaven. Pogba had no uh, Pogba had no discipline, like tracking back, and when he did track back, he fouled. He conceded the penalty. And Shaw always gets caught out of position. He bombs forward, but he doesn't have that positional awareness to track back. And then also, like in the midfield, we all know what happened. Partey and then he had a great game. So where do you think the game was won?
I actually felt it was one out wide. Like
Yeah,
if you see our most popular combinations from that night, like we tried to build out from the back. Obviously, a lot of times we had El Neni who was superb doing that. He always made himself available to Leno. And we obviously saw Rashford and Bruno and everyone try to pressurize him to win the ball back, but uh, he always had that option out wide. Uh, Lacazette dropped deep a lot of times to do that, and obviously since United were lacking any sorts of width, we had Bellerin, we had Saka, we had Tierney. We always had options out wide. Um, and one thing to note, I would say, is that we had a 70% long pass completion to the front three. Uh, that's like over 20% from last week. Uh, United, for example, had 40%. Uh,
yeah,
so we were easily able to bypass that. I don't want to call it press because I didn't really see that from United's midfield,
yeah.
but we were
There was
easily able to bypass United's midfield to easily lick up play to our front three, and that
Our
made it
passing
really
was
easy for us.
our
it's
passing
still
was
shocking,
terrible.
It's still shocking that a two-man midfield was able to outpress, outwork, and outfight a four-man midfield. It still doesn't make sense.
Yeah,
And
and
yeah,
lasting
Sai,
images from that game was Elneny harrying who was that Lindelof in the 91st minute. I mean,
Yeah,
yeah,
what was that? That was
and Nitin, like how immense was Gabriel that game? People are talking about Elneny, people are talking about Partey, but like Sai said, he was the man of the match for that game. How immense was he? He had a Van Dijk level performance, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, he stopped everything that came his way. He was a monster in the air. Uh, I'm not gonna lie, I was a little worried when he got a yellow card in the first half. Holding did too. Uh, Gabriel, especially when we
Hey,
play in a
he should have been sent off. Let me get that in as well. The foul on Greenwood, that
50-50,
was a second yellow. That was definitely a
Yeah.
second yellow. He should have been off. But yeah, let's move on.
50 being it was a last warning challenge, or the other 50 meaning
I
a
think it was
different
a
call.
it was a bit harsh on the tackle, so I don't think it was a
If
50-50. But anyway, it doesn't matter now.
if
So
uh, if Gabriel wasn't on a yellow, that would have been a yellow card.
yes,
I'll just
exactly.
say that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, but he should have been off. That was a
Yeah, he
poor
should have been
challenge.
set off. That, but that's what. If he wasn't already on a yellow card, that would have been a yellow. So
But even if he had been sent off, I wouldn't have seen us scoring anyway. We were that bad.
yeah, that bad. Sai. When do you think Ole should have made those substitutions? Because he
Half
made it
time,
too late.
half
Yeah,
time, half
it
time.
was like at 18 minutes to go, and he brings on your Cavani and he brings on your Van der
No,
Beek.
no, no, no.
And
The point is, he brings on Cavani, who's very good in the air, right? And he doesn't have wide players for it. What sort of a substitution was that?
is that his fault? Because you look at our bench, there wasn't any white players up. If you
No,
wanted
no,
to bring
no.
on Dan
What
James,
No, what I'd
that
say
would have.
is, no, my subs would have been, you take Pogba off, you take McTominay off, right? And you take Fred off because he was on a yellow. So you would have brought on Matic for Fred. That's fine. You would have brought on Van de Beek for Pogba. That's fine. And you would have brought on Cavani for I think for the other player McTominay, I guess. Yes. So you could have played Rashford on the left, Greenwood on the right, Cavani in the middle, Van de Beek on the left of midfield. Bruno would have probably played on the right of midfield, and Matic would have been sitting. So that gives us a 4-3-3 where we could have, had an aerial threat. Rashford could have crossed it, Greenwood could have crossed it, or they could have switched flanks so that they could cross on their, Greenwood doesn't have a weaker foot or a strong foot, but Rashford on the right, Greenwood on the left, they could cross it in. Probably would
But
have, Cavani would have had, yeah, but ifs and buts are there, man. But the subs were all wrong. I was shocked that he kept Pogba on and took Bruno off.
yeah, why was that? Like he wasn't having a good game. But I always say, like, even if you're trailing or even if the person is not having a good game, you still keep them on because they can create a moment of magic. They can, like, Pogba can put in a lofted pass for Rashford and he can run in and score or anything like that. Just one moment. And
What was
Pogba
he
is a
going to do?
moments player.
No, but what
Pogba
was
is
he
a
going to
moment
do?
player.
No, no, no.
No, no,
What was he going to do
let me
from?
finish. Let me finish. But if you are going to make substitutions, there was no point to. If you had to choose between Bruno and Pogba to take off, I would 100% take off Pogba. He wasn't at it. He wasn't at the level that was required. But you take off Bruno, who was our, like, as you said, our best player, and those substitutions were bad. And you're bringing on Cavani, who is a target man, and you're not providing him that width. So it was like you're just putting square pegs in round holes, and you're just trying to, like, fit in all these players without any tactical system. That's what I got from that night. It was you're trailing, you're just bringing on whoever can make a difference without even having a
You know what
system
our
or a
finishing?
formation.
You know
Yeah,
what our finishing formation was?
yeah,
The players that finished the game, they were in a
yeah,
4-2-3-1. Matic
yeah,
and I think Matic and McTominay was sitting as a double pivot.
yeah,
Pogba was on the left hand side of the three.
yeah,
Van de Beek was
yeah,
in the middle. Rashford on the right. Cavani up top. Which was what was Pogba going to do from the left wing?
yeah. Exactly. He was trying to drag Bellerin towards the inside so that Luke Shaw could have
Yeah, Luke
license
Shaw.
and space to attack down at left wing.
Luke
But
Shaw doesn't.
Bellerin and Holding, they credit to Holding and Bellerin. That right hand side did a brilliant job trying to uh, contain those two. And
No, but
Nitin, yeah,
Luke Shaw wasn't overlapping. So what's the point?
yeah, that that was like, I don't know about that. Uh, Maybe because they were worried defensively that they would get caught out.
He should
That
just
could
go
be an
for it,
option.
man. At home, against Chelsea, he was set up defensively. Against Arsenal, he set up defensively. I mean, and he goes on and gives interviews like, "Oh, we're Man United, we're going to attack," and blah 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 whatever. But I don't know what. I think he probably. I understood why he went defensive against Chelsea because he didn't want to lose badly like he lost against Spurs. That's fine, but you look at the team that has set up defensively in Arsenal, and you should try to attack them. I know they came with an intent to counterattack, but you have the players to shield against the counterattack. But at one point, all of our players were in their half. All of our players, even Rashford was in their half, which was it was like watching those old Mourinho teams where they parked the bus and sat so deep and tried to hit
Exactly,
on.
exactly.
But you know what? We were good at counterattacks. You know the only team that beat us twice with the same tactic, Arteta's Arsenal. We
Yeah,
beat Paris uh, two seasons ago, I think. When no no last season or whenever that was,
it
we
was
lost
last.
against
That
Arsenal.
was 2 seasons ago. Yeah,
I think we lost against Arsenal 2-0.
on New Year's Day
Again,
last year.
yeah, exactly. Last New Year's Day, we lost against Arsenal 2-0. We were good at counterattacks. Oh, no, not Paris. Yeah, anyway. So we had a good result against Man City and Spurs back to back last
Yeah,
season. We went to Man City and we beat them 2-1 or something, and we probably could have won 5-1 or 6-1 because we missed so many chances. But anyway, we tried to use the same tactic against Arsenal. Arteta implemented this pressing style, and that's when I said those famous words. According to you guys, I could see some patterns of play in Arsenal's style, and Arteta has implemented that, and you guys made fun of me for that. But he's the only
yeah.
manager
But
who
I have to say, I have to apologize to you. Public apology. Like everybody made fun of you, but
no no,
yesterday, but
but
that game you could see patterns of play, literal patterns of play. Arteta had patterns of play, and
that's
so it was like a big
that's he,
apology to you.
he's the only manager who figures out how Ole was going to set up, and he beat us twice, fair and square.
Yeah,
There's no
yeah,
lucky, deflection or whatever. They warranted both victories,
yeah.
albeit we probably could have drawn if Pogba hadn't made that challenge, but that doesn't take away the fact that they were the better team. But anyway, enough of me giving them credit. I'm just furious, man. You know what he was going to do, and you still do the same thing. I mean, I still probably wouldn't jump the gun and say he should be sacked or whatnot. But I'm not going to talk. I'm just going to keep quiet and watch things unfold. Because one day we're beating teams like Paris, the next day we're losing against teams like Crystal Palace, Arsenal, and we'd probably lose to West Brom at this rate. I don't know.
So you're
Did I
including
just hear
Arsenal.
you compare Arsenal with
Yeah,
Crystal
yeah,
Palace
yeah.
and West Brom?
No. I'm just saying. I wouldn't be surprised if we end
I
up,
think we're confused about which team is 15th in the table.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. No. Like I said, I wouldn't be confused. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if we beat a team like Bayern or something, and end up losing to a relegation, fighting team like Fulham or West Brom. That's how we're playing. We're beating Leipzig, who were the league leaders in Bundesliga, and Paris, who were the finalists last season, and we're losing Crystal Palace and Spurs, which is, I mean, I don't care what the Spurs fans think. They're always a small club. So I don't care if they have Mourinho or Bale or whoever. Tin pot club. That's it.
Yeah, I agree with you.
First,
Yeah.
this
Yeah,
is a
you will
news
agree.
flash.
Yeah.
This is like breaking news. And Sai actually agree on something. You heard it here first. Okay,
Yeah,
Nitin, you want
Sai,
to ask?
just
How many
one
I
times?
think
thing actually, like what you were saying was correct. So, one thing is that United play well against teams who attack them, but they're very bad against teams who sit back and counter. So,
and
that's the key here.
a funny stat. Our home
Yeah,
record is one of the worst in our history, and our away record is one of the best in our history. It's like sun and moon,
chalk and yeah, chalk and
chalk and
cheese.
cheese, chalk and cheese. I mean, I don't
It's
know what's
it's
going
not,
on.
yeah, that's what like in a way we are basically a counter-attacking team. None of this attacking, free-flowing, Alex Ferguson kind of football. The reality is, the harsh reality is, we are a counter-attacking team, and if not like Nagelsmann, Tuchel, they did not show any respect. They were playing a high line, and that badly exposed that badly exposed them. But when you're against a team like Arteta's Arsenal or Lampard's Chelsea, who they came to our stadium and set up to you come and try and break us down. That's where we struggle a lot. And the sad thing is, the frightening thing is, we do not have a plan B. We do not have a plan B when teams sit back and say, "You have the ball, you try and break us down, and we'll try to hit you on the counter." We do not have a plan B for that, and that is where I am most worried of. Like,
But
we are just
you know,
using the pace of Rashford and Martial and Greenwood to try and get behind strikers and utilize the spaces in behind the defense.
no, I believe that we did manage well with those teams who try to sit back and hit us on the counter. If you see towards the end of last season, we played well against teams who were sitting really deep. Give an example of
But
the game against Bournemouth, Southampton. We actually beat them quite comfortably. I think we didn't beat
but
Southampton, but Bournemouth we beat them. Brighton, Aston Villa, all those teams, they were sitting really deep against us. And Bruno changed that a little bit when he came in, but now it's like it's again back to square one. We seem to run out of ideas.
yeah, Nitin, you want to ask something?
Yeah. So, how many times have you actually seen Ole change his tactics based on his opposition? He won with a diamond against Leipzig, against Paris, sure, but how many times have you actually seen him adapt his tactics? Like, does he
I
just
have
sort
an
of tend
answer
to
for
just
this,
go with
but
the
I'll
flow
come to
based
this
on
at the end.
whatever the previous results were like?
No, when he initially came in, he was quite good because we went to Wembley against Spurs with two wide strikers. I think it was Martial and Rashford. It was basically like 3-5-2, but the strikers were split really wide.
Yeah,
They played in between the fullback and the centre back, so it was really hard for I think no, not Eric Dyer. It was Ben Davies and Alderweireld on the other side, and on this side was I think it's Trippier and Vertonghen. I think.
I
Yeah, it
don't
was
think
very
Trippier,
hard.
that was Oriel.
Yeah. So no. In 2019, 18-19, Trippier was still at Spurs, so it wasn't Aurier. So anyway, yeah. So he was doing quite well, but again, we had that loss against Arsenal in the Premier League. I think Unai Emery beat him 2-0. That was our first defeat for a while. Uh, but before that as well, do you remember that FA Cup game where we won 3-1 or something where Alexis Sanchez scored?
Yeah.
Yeah, he did adapt his tactics according to the opposition back then because he played Lukaku on the right, he played Martial in the middle, on Rashford on the left, and we were doing quite well, and everything fell off since that defeat against Arsenal, and we had a very poor end to the season, and that seemed to have continued to the start of last season, and then Bruno came in and it changed again, and we were unbeaten up until the game against Crystal Palace. Uh, and then I really don't know because sometimes managers are like, if something works, why would you change it? So I'd give you an example of Pep Guardiola, who seems to change every game and he gets criticized for it. But Ole, he stuck with one team towards the end of, post lockdown, we pretty much had the same lineup every game, and we
Yeah.
seemed to produce a consistent string of results, which was working well. But I'd say he changed his tactics according to the opposition in the Champions League, and it worked well. We went three at the back against Paris, we won. We went to a diamond against Leipzig, we won. But for some reason, it hasn't been working in the Premier League. Maybe because the teams here know more about Solskjaer than the teams who play once a year or something, or they expect what we are going to do here in the Premier League. So that's why I said the Premier League is a completely different ballgame. It's very, very difficult to win every single week, and huge amount of respect for what Pep and Klopp achieved last season and the season before that. So to keep winning every single week is something extraordinary, and I think he's been found out to an extent where teams now expect what we are going to do, and they know how to block us. Uh, Murali, I think, brought up a good point the other day where he said, "What if Partey is tasked with man marking Bruno Fernandes?" And I strongly denied that Arteta would try to do it, but it seemed like Partey had Bruno in his pockets the other day. So
Yeah.
we didn't have an answer for it.
Yeah, that, and it was also really fun to watch him go up against Pogba, wasn't it?
Yeah,
I mean,
it was painful. It was painful. Uh,
Pogba is so
you
tall.
we
He's got long stretches, long strides, and he's not pacey. Like I said, the Premier League is not suited to him. He prefers to play in a league which is much slower. La Liga, I bet if he goes to Juventus or Real Madrid in a couple of years, I wouldn't be
I
surprised if he wins a Ballon d'Or or something. He could do a madness, and he could, put up numbers like Ozil or De Bruyne or Thierry Henry did all those years ago. I honestly wouldn't be surprised because you have more time on the ball. You can pick your passes. You can dictate play from where you are. But yeah, it's a sad situation with Pogba, man. He doesn't. I give you an example where Mourinho tried to challenge him in his own way, and it didn't work, and Jose ended up losing his job. At Spurs, he did the same to Ndombele, and look at him now. Ndombele is a complete different player.
but you're
Yeah,
talking about a slow league, La Liga. Partey just basically came from the La Liga, and he played like the person who's been playing in the Premier League for like 3 seasons. And
No, that's what
Pogba
I'm
was
saying.
slow,
No, that's what
so
I'm
you
saying.
cannot say that
He,
it's because of a slower league and he's a slower player. If Partey, Pogba should be what Partey is currently, the kind
he,
of
he can't.
that
He
drive.
can't. I'll give you a
He
good
should
good
be. That's what I'm
example.
saying.
He cannot be, because I'll give you a good example of a player, Roberto Soldado, who came from La Liga. He was banging in goals over there, and he hardly scored in the Premier League because it's too pacey. People can't live with the pace, and for a player who plays as deep as Pogba does, or in some cases, I mean, he might be further up the pitch, but his job is to play in the midfield, and it's easily if you press him, you can win the ball. He doesn't want to pass it. He doesn't want to take the safe option. Sometimes you just have to take the safe option. You don't try to be fancy, do some tricks, and get out of trouble. So
yeah.
We've been talking about Ole the entire episode, but we want to talk about the manager at the opposite end of the dugout,
Yeah,
Nitin.
actually, I have a question
Cup
to Nitin. Actually,
and
one question, Nitin. What do you think about the chance creations on that particular day? Do you think it was enough?
Oh, yeah, against United, I didn't really see that issue with creativity that we've seen so often with Arsenal this season. I mean, it was actually fluid. It looked like the players knew where to find each other in the final third, and of course, the United playing narrow was a huge factor in that because
yeah,
Bellerin, Samkatini, they were just basically able to do whatever they wanted to. Uh, Most of our chance creation was down to Bellerin, I would say. Uh, I didn't feel like Shaw had a very good game, both
yeah. They were
defensively and
targeting our
offensively.
left-hand side. It
but
was
I
clearly
wouldn't
evident.
I wouldn't blame any of our defenders for the defeat. They were not
Yeah,
great.
I mean,
No,
they
But
were just outnumbered, especially out wide. I mean, so Bellerin, I mean, he played a huge part in our chance creation. So I remember Sairam asking me if I would have preferred to have Partey or Awar in the last episode, and I said Partey, and oh, there you go.
vindicated. Yeah.
it's vindicated. It's extremely vindicated.
I,
Now talking about
do,
the
do you know what?
yeah,
I would have loved someone like a Partey in our midfield.
we were supposed to have a party in our midfield that was Pogba, but
Pogba is not Partey. Partey is a destroyer. Is a
you look
monster.
you look at not okay, fine, a destroyer, fine, but you look at the drive and the energy in the
Yeah,
midfield,
he
somebody
was
who can provide that.
basically, yeah,
You
he
look
was
at
Yeah,
his
providing the
performances
ball
in France.
progressions.
Apart from
this is
that
what
defensive, that tackling, putting in the tackles, Pogba and Partey have the same kind of roles in distribution, in driving the ball forward, in carrying. Uh, I feel that that's what Pogba can do. That's what Ole is trying to do with Pogba. That at least,
it's just not the same
but it's
player.
not working out.
He
Right
doesn't
now, it's actually Elneny Pogba.
he doesn't have those
Let's forget about Party for a moment.
he doesn't have
But
the capabilities
to
or
rebuttal
Pogba
that,
needs to revert back to the basics and do the simple things right.
no, but what is the basics for him? He does something so well for France, and he does the complete opposite with United. He knows the basics. It's I don't know if it's coaching or if it's his own application to the game.
how can
It's
it
a
be?
mystery.
One of the best coaches in the world couldn't handle him. What coaching do you need?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's all
sticking
about
to the
application.
point, actually, like the
He,
question
like I
I
said,
was actually asking was that apart from the penalty, there were only two clear-cut chances. So, do you think like maybe some kind of other players like Ceballos, or maybe in case Ozil was in the bench, maybe would have helped in much key passing areas or chance creations?
I
Was the
wouldn't
questions actually?
have replaced our midfield pairing with anyone from our
Uh,
squad. Uh,
yeah, yeah,
I
oh,
get that we only had like two or three clear-cut chances, but against a team which was defending with 10 men, that's usually two or three more chances than we usually create. We usually
but
create zero chances in such against such teams. Uh, but
But
it would have maybe been nice to have such an option in the bench like Ozil. Ceballos, I think he has the drive, but he's not a pure creator. Like he's never been. I don't think he will ever be. Uh, can maybe act as like that link between midfield and attack, but I think that's it. Uh, but it would be interesting certainly to see how we play going forward against maybe against the relegation threatened sides. Like, would we still stick with a three-man back? Would we still
yeah,
play Elneny, or would we have Jaka or Ceballos in the team? So it's going to be interesting to see if we can maintain this consistency against those other teams.
yeah.
So that's always been the real challenge, especially right from the time Arteta came in, and that's going to be crucial for the top four race.
I don't think they needed to create a few more chances anyway, because their game plan was to come in there and get a result, and which would have happened anyway. They, the main difference between this Arsenal team and the teams of the past was the teams of the past would have come here, try to be more expansive, and
Yep.
probably would have lost 4-0 or 5-0, not just against United, in general against any top six side, and which was the case. You see their record against the top six, all those heavy defeats against Liverpool, the 8-2 at Old Trafford, the 6-2 and 5-0 at City. I could go on. So I don't think the Arsenal fans would have minded one shot on goal, 1-0 win, and a clean sheet. So that's what they would have wanted, and that's what they got. So there's nothing to complain.
I
About.
was actually quite disappointed with United on that day. Like they're playing at home, they were the farm team. They were playing against Arsenal, who didn't have
If
such a good game week
if
last.
you as an Arsenal fan, you're disappointed with how we played, imagine how miserable we would have felt after that morale boosting win. Uh, I'm always cautious. I don't go overboard with my prediction. I obviously I would want my team to win, but I wouldn't go out and tell people that, oh yeah, we're going to win 3-0, 2-0, whatever. I wanted to see a good performance, although I wouldn't have been happy with a point. But yeah, seeing that, I knew this was going to happen. The moment Pogba, like I said, he ran, and the longer the game was at 0-0, I had this feeling that we were not going to score, and we did score, and then you scored, and I knew we were going to lose. That's
It's
what happened.
interesting because we had exactly the opposite feeling. We felt the longer it was at 0-0, the more chance of you nicking a goal away, and that was
No, no,
exactly
because
what happened against Leicester. And
I was surprised you said that. I'm surprised you said that because you were the better team. You had the most chances out of the two.
Yeah.
So
There
our
have
confidence.
The better team doesn't always win, buddy.
there have been chances when better teams playing against United haven't done well. All
We
it
were
took
the
was a
better team
penalty,
against Leicester, for example. We had a phenomenal first half, and yet we couldn't score, and they did in the second
and
Exactly.
half.
all it would have taken was a penalty. Rashford driving in and either holding or Tierney making a lousy challenge, and that's it. And it
Yeah,
was Mike Dean. We were talking about it on the last episode. We were talking about Mike Dean, how influential Mike Dean was in this game,
Yeah,
and
Sophie
we were
commented that. Yeah,
yeah.
whatever the game is going to be, it's going to be Bruno Fernandes one. Yeah,
Yeah, so
I know,
exactly.
but he did make a terrible mistake. Like I said, he at least should have gone to the VAR monitor and had a look at that Gabriel challenge. He just waved it off. So I felt that was one. Uh, I mean, like I said, man, that's not really a game changer. I don't think that would have. I mean, probably made a difference. I mean, yeah, but I don't know.
what
I'm
do
not
you
going to use that as an excuse.
what do you think about the Gabriel challenge on Matic? People are saying that was a
I didn't
penalty.
I didn't see it. I didn't see it. But like I said, no complaints. We deserved to lose, and we take it on the chin, and we go again. The thing is, we play Everton next, and I don't know what to expect in that game. Although our away form is really good, but uh,
We're winning that 100%. Ole's
yeah.
job is
But
on the
one
line.
thing I
Ole's
think we
job
can
is on the
say
line.
for sure is that you're not going to be playing Diamond there against
will
Everton.
or
Oh,
you never know.
we will play.
He, he,
We will play
he,
a diamond. Trust me,
he
we will
has
play.
he
I
has played
think they don't
diamond.
have an option.
He has played a diamond tonight. So no. I don't think we will because Martial is back. So we play Martial, Rashford, and Greenwood. I believe so.
No,
Is it?
Martial Rashford up top. Simple.
No, Martial, Rashford, and Greenwood would start. We play a three-man attack. That's what I think. We play. I think my team would be for that game. I play Matic, Fred, and Van de Beek or
Nitin,
Okay.
Fernandez.
how significant was this game in the top four challenge? Was this the game that cemented, like, made you the front runners in the race for the top four?
I wouldn't call us front runners, but it was a hugely significant win. I mean, granted, it was against a team that's 15th in the table, so it might not seem
You
like
had to
much.
get that in, isn't it?
Oh,
But all kidding aside, yeah, it was a huge morale boosting win. I mean, a win at Old Trafford where we hadn't won for 14 years. Uh, I mean, we've seen lots of close games over the last 3 years where we've come away with draws, but being able to get one over the line, that was immensely satisfying, and I'm sure it must be confidence boosting for the squad. We're certainly in the race for top four, but like I said, unless we get that consistency, especially at home against some of the lesser sides, we won't make it. Um,
nice. Same question to you. How significant was this game in the race for the top four? Does it jeopardize
Only,
our chances for the top four?
I mean, so of course, certainly we're 15th. Like I said, we only got 7 points from 6 games, which is appalling, and we've lost 3 games already. So the margin for losing, games going in the next 32 games that we have left
Yeah.
is pretty low. So I don't know where we'll finish this season. I honestly don't know. We need to start winning, and we need to go on a run like what we did pre and post lockdown since February. Uh, and we need to pick up points, man. Games are coming thick and fast. We need to start beating teams. I mean, yeah, obviously those losses against Spurs and Crystal Palace didn't help. Uh, yeah, I mean, it definitely is damaging for our chances, but it's a long season. Let's not get carried away with one defeat. I mean, we can be hopeful. That's all we can do. So let's see what the season holds for us.
I also do not
Yeah,
want to get on the hype train, but what about the fact that we have the best defensive record in the game, having played at the Etihad, Anfield, and Old Trafford? That's
Good for you. Good for you, man. Good for you.
That's
I
good for
hope.
you. That really shows how Arteta has changed this team. You could really see that he has come in and he has made sure that you guys don't concede goals first before you score goals, because he knew that you guys were capable, more than capable of scoring goals. But it the defense was an issue even during Arsene Wenger's reign. You guys were always soft. You guys were always easily bullied. Like Troy Deeney said, you guys don't have the cojones. But I think that game showed that you guys have more than just cojones now, and Arteta is a key factor to that. I think. What do you say, Nathan?
They
Oh
need
yeah,
to.
that's exactly right. I mean, it's the spine of the team that we so often call it, right? Like,
Yeah,
and obviously he's made some terrific signings as well. Credit to Edu as well for that. Like now we genuinely have a good player in each department. Like goalkeeper, obviously Leno did really well last season. We signed Gabriel, who has been terrific for us. Probably going to be our player of the month this month as well. Thomas Partey, of course. Going forward, we signed Auba to that new contract, which was huge for the club. Hopefully, he can start banging in some goals from next week. Uh,
Yeah.
but yeah, I mean that was the place to start for Arteta. Like we were conceding too many goals. We had a soft underbelly. Teams would just play against us, overrun our midfield, and I mean we were averaging what we were conceding 20 to 25 shots per game towards the end of Emery's reign, and he really had to stop that. Uh,
yeah.
so yeah, huge credit to him for getting the organizational structure in place, and uh, we're no longer easy to beat anymore. So I'm
I'd
glad that we finally compete in these big games. It's
I'd
been a
still
while,
say,
but it's happening.
yeah, Istanbul take the lead as we speak.
Oh my god.
One long ball is on his own half, not offside, and it's a goal. Yeah,
I mean, comeback kings.
Let's go there. Let's start.
let's not
Yeah,
even talk
Nathan,
about.
one more question to you. So, apart from the penalty, I didn't see much of an involvement from Aubameyang. So, does his form concern you?
No, like I said in the last episode, you based purely on looking at the numbers, one might think that, but I would say no, because first of all, we haven't really created any chances for him. Uh, Second of all, I think this penalty will really help him. You could see that he was a little short of confidence, especially in the first half. You couldn't see that bit of spark in his gameplay. But now that he finally has that goal, I mean, he was on his longest drought in like 6 years, a goal without, I mean, 5 league games or something without a goal. That's his longest drought in 6 years. So I think this will really help. So hopefully he can start getting in some goals for us next week.
And guess who scored? It's
Dembaba.
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 Gerrard slipped.
That's
Yeah, we were talking
Okay.
before that. Yeah.
Anyway,
So now coming to the player ratings, let's get your player ratings and Sai, coming to you. De Gea,
don't
how
think he
much
had
would you give him out of 10?
don't think he had anything to do apart from saving that penalty, man. So I had 6.
Okay. Wan Bissaka,
5.
5. Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, I mean,
I-
he was definitely beaten on a couple of occasions by Saka. I mean, he obviously had the pace to get back and at least make the tackle to concede the corner, but I'd say he wasn't at his usual best. And
Yeah.
United on that night would have definitely preferred if he could have just created a couple of chances going forward as well.
He did create one which hit the post of Leno or something. Yeah, but
And Lindelof,
Lindelof, same 6.
5.
6.
Okay, 6. Maguire,
Maguire was really solid, man. I'd give him a 7.
yeah, he's been having a couple of really good performances. Yeah.
He had a good game, so I'd give him 7.
I think, to be fair, I think Lindelof was also instrumental in stopping Auba. Like, he was tipping away a few balls from him. I think
Yeah, that's
6
why I gave
is
him a 6.
too. Yeah,
Yeah,
I think
our defense has really.
he deserves more.
The thing is, we didn't win and we played poorly overall, so I can't give out 7s and 8s just like that to everyone. So 6 is
Got it,
probably
yeah.
fair. So
Yeah.
if you scored over 5, then you probably had a good game. So that's what I think.
Luke Shaw,
5. He was okay, but didn't overlap, didn't put in any crosses. Some of his, I think he crossed in. He put in a couple of crosses from free kicks, which were good. His deliveries have improved recently, but he didn't have much to do. 5.
Would you still trade him away for a bag of chips?
I probably would. No, but seriously, he's okay. He's been doing well. So
Fred.
Fred was again 50-50, man. I'd give him a 5. He did recover some good balls again, but his passing was off. He gave the ball away too often. He was booked as well, so 5.
McTominay, McT, McSauce.
4. He wasn't good. 4.
Yeah.
Not going to criticize him too much. 4.
Lapioche, Paul Pogba.
3. Like I said, I'm not going to criticize him again too much. Let's just say he was pretty bad and move on. I would have given him a 4, but he gave away the penalty, so it's 3.
Bruno Fernandes.
5. Didn't have anything to do. He tried his best, but nothing to do. 5.
Mason Greenwood.
Mason Greenwood, apart from that one chance, and he did well to track back and stuff on a few occasions. So I'd give him 6. But he only played about 65 minutes, so 6.
Marcus Rashford.
Nothing to do. 4.
And the subs. Cavani.
Again, he didn't get the service. He couldn't do much. 5.
Matic.
Mattis did well, I think, so 5.
And Van der Beek.
Van der Beek, again, nothing to do. 5.
Nitin coming to manager. Sorry.
Mr. Solskjaer gets a 4.
Ollie's at the wheel.
Mr. Solskjaer gets a 4. So, yeah. It looks like he might not even be in the job next. No. He might not be in the job next week. So,
the win against PSG and Leipzig has settled his job. He is not going to leave. Fabrizio came out and said that he's staying.
But obviously,
he's going to finish at the top of his group anyway, and I just
no. But no.
Let's be fair and hope that he gets rewarded with a new contract.
I know what you want him to say.
No,
I know why you are backing him with it.
That's what they say. They're not going to publicly come out and say, hey, we're going to sack him. So, we'll see. But I think if this carries on, he won't be in the job for far too long.
If that's the case, I hope Real Madrid perform even worse, sack Zidane first and hire Pochettino.
Even if Pochettino comes, he's not going to work miracles on the squad.
He made Spurs relevant. How much of a bigger achievement do you want? He made Spurs relevant.
That's what this is. You talking as if our squad is bad. Our squad is not bad.
Exactly. Like he made Tottenham relevant, and he obviously can do the same thing to you.
See, Tottenham are a group of I won't say nobodies, but they aren't like superstars. It still remains to be seen whether he can manage egos in the dressing room. He's got one of the biggest egos in the dressing room with Paul Pogba. You
get him out.
It remains to be seen whether he can manage.
That's it.
My next question is exactly that, actually. Okay, Sai and Akash, to you both. When Ollie joined Manchester United from Molde, did you think you were getting a top-class manager?
Dude, we didn't think he was an interim manager. We never thought anything at that time. How can we think? I honestly thought that he is going to leave at the end of the season and we are going to go for Poch. That's what I thought. I 100% believe that.
I'll be honest, I wasn't a fan. First of all, I didn't want Jose to get sacked. Secondly, I wasn't a fan. My first reaction when this was announced was it straight away went to what he did with Cardiff. I was like, he relegated Cardiff, and how are we trusting him to be our manager? But then he came in, he did quite well, and I was quite happy. But then I was quite vocal about his tactics and stuff towards the beginning of last season. But then Bruno Fernandes came in and he changed everything. So I was okay. Even now, I'm not going to call for him to get sacked, but I don't know what's going on with the club, but I will say this: he wasn't back in the window. He clearly
I
informed the club of his targets, but they didn't get him any of them. So
I mean, at the time he was, I mean, you signed him to a permanent deal. I mean, wasn't this the GIF that you all remember? This, remember that
yeah,
GIF?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
here's the
Rio
contract.
Ferdinand,
always at
Yeah,
the wheel.
here's the contract.
give him whatever he
Sign it.
wants. Oh
Just
no.
give him the
I
paper, sign it, whatever the money.
that that GIF will haunt Manchester United forever. That GIF will haunt Manchester
Oh,
United forever.
Rio Ferdinand said, "I'm not going to say that ever again." So I think he knows.
He better not. He better not say that. There'll be fans gunning for his head if he had said that. Nitin, coming to you. The player ratings. Bird Leno.
Uh, I'd give him a 6. Like he really didn't have much to do in the
He had
field.
a shot from Mason Greenwood saved. That
Yep,
was a
and
brilliant
there
save.
was also that deflection that
Yeah,
it was off his head. I didn't think it was intentional, obviously, but he was solid. He did everything that was asked of him. Good from collecting corners. So yeah, I'd give him a 6.
yeah. And Gabriel.
Gabriel, I'd go with an 8. He was
I'd give him
immense.
a 9.
He
I'd
was
give
a
him a 9.
monster. I give him an 8 because he gave us Arsenal fans some nervy moments after his yellow. But yeah,
Yeah,
he was our best defender of the night. So uh, no questions
yeah.
there.
I think I'd give him a 9.
Robert Holding.
Holding, I'd give a 7.5. I felt he was also really, really good, and he sort of went under the radar that night
Yeah,
because of Gabriel and Partey's performances. Uh, and I really, really thankful that he got back from the injury
Yeah,
because I really was not looking forward to seeing Mustafi defend against Rashford and Greenwood. But yeah,
yeah.
he was solid on the night.
can I
Yeah,
just ask you one question? What's going on with his hair, man? He all of a sudden he looks like Dennis Bergkamp.
Yeah, and
maybe
he's
that's the reason why he's become so good.
I hadn't seen him for a while, and then I think the last time I saw him, he had a head full of hair, and now he looks like Dennis Bergkamp.
he posts a photo on social media every week, and even though it's every week, I still see a difference. So
Rob
Yeah.
Holding. Yeah.
Kieran Tierney.
Tierney, again, I would give him a 7.5. Defensively solid as a rock most of the time. He was given maybe a couple of nervy moments by Greenwood on the couple of occasions that he got the ball in the final third, but defensively he was superb, and going forward, obviously, he utilized that space he had created by United's formation.
Yeah, Bukayo Saka.
Saka would give 7.5 maybe. No complaints about his
77.5.
performance. No complaints about his performance. I love that drive I see from him every time he plays. So yeah, he's one of our own.
Yeah,
I told you the
and
other day he's a fantastic player.
he held on to the ball a lot. That was my only complaint. And Wan-Bissaka, he was going up against Wan-Bissaka, which wasn't an easy task. Wan-Bissaka is really good. So yeah, I'd agree with that. El Neni.
El Neni, I would give an 8.5.
Okay.
He was superb. I would say it was his best performance in an Arsenal shirt. It was even though United, the midfielders, the forwards tried to press him, he was really composed. He gave the ball to players who were free, made lots of interceptions, and he was excellent in everything he did.
And the main man, Thomas Partey.
Let's go with a 9. Uh, and it's a 9 and not a 10 because he lost the ball on a couple of occasions. He did win it
Yeah.
back immediately, but it was an all-round performance. Like I'm really excited as an Arsenal fan to see how he's gonna perform in the other games.
Should be. Hector Bellerin.
Bellerin, I would also give him an 8.5 because, like I said, he was crucial to our play, especially going forward. Defensively, he didn't really have much to do. And Holding, who was our right-sided centre back that day, I mean, he didn't go forward that often, as often as maybe Gabriel or Tierney. So he stayed back most of the time. So Bellerin had that cover. So he didn't really have much to do defensively, and offensively he was superb. So
Okay, cool. And now coming to the front three, Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang.
I'd give him a 7 because he was okay in the first half. Maybe missing that spark, but thankfully we had that penalty that he scored, maintained his composure, and now we'll see how he does.
I think 7 is you're being too nice to him. He was completely
Yeah, I mean we came away with the win at Old Trafford.
That's why I said I understand why you give him a 7, but for me he like I said was a better performer on the night. So the only reason why he took the penalty was because he needed the confidence. I think otherwise, I mean, is he your designated penalty taker?
Yeah, he is.
Okay, cool. But anyway, I'd probably give him a 5. But that's just me. Lacazette was much better. His pressing and the way he came short to receive the ball. So he was better on the night.
I agree. Lacazette was better, but I'm not gonna give anyone a 5 for that.
Yeah, of course. It's just like a complete contrast to what I said.
Yeah, the next player, Lacazette.
Lacazette, I'd give him a 7.5. He created like 3 decent half chances for us. He won the ball back. He pressed. His intensity was very nice to see for the 75 minutes that he played.
Yeah. And last person, Willian.
Maybe a 6.5. I think he should have done better with the clear-cut chance that he got. I felt that he rushed it. He should have taken a couple more touches and should have tried to place it a bit better. He did link up our midfield and our attack well, so it was still a 6.5. Solid performance.
Let me just say, Bruno was an absolute idiot over there. He should have played in Martial, but he tried to dribble on his own and then ended up losing the ball.
We saw that. Now coming to the subs, Ainsley Maitland-Niles.
I mean, we all know why he was brought on. I mean, United at that point, they were just trying to get a goal, get back into the game. And yeah, I mean, honestly, I mean, it was mostly just crosses into the box, and he really didn't have much to do. He brought that energy, which I liked, so I'd give him a 6.
Yeah, and Mustafi. Your favorite player.
He didn't concede any fouls or penalties, so maybe 10. Yeah, he didn't have much to do as well, so just a 6. Yeah.
I apologize for all the interruptions.
Yeah. Last person is Eddie Nketiah.
I'd give him a 6.5 only because he was able to take the ball deep on a couple of occasions that he got it on the break. I mean, he didn't take it like all the way down to the corner flag or something, but that did eat up the clock quite a bit. So he did what he was asked to do. So I'd give him a 6.5.
Lastly, manager.
I'd go with a 10. After a performance like that, I mean, it was a masterclass, right from the formation, the team that he picked, the players that he selected to play in the 11. Like, there was a clear-cut plan. Each player had a designated role. I felt like he really got through his instructions well to his players. So he knew what he wanted to do against United. He knew their weaknesses. He knew how they would attack in terms of Bruno and everyone. Just took him out of the game. So it was a solid 10.
Okay, fine. I think we pretty much covered everything there is to cover. Any last words, gentlemen? Sarah was getting frustrated. He needs to go.
Yeah, I think Sai has something to say.
Yeah, this game and having our chat in the midst of this game is, I don't think it's not ideal. But yeah, I apologize for all those interruptions I did because.
I think the live audience or the viewers will have real fun looking at that. Somebody should make stickers out of that.
But yeah, it was a good show, guys. And
yeah.
But yeah, as far as what the next weekend holds for us, I'd rather not say. But the thing though, United and Arsenal are pretty much the same. Like I said, one week we go and beat top teams, and the next week we go and lose to small teams. So I would be surprised if Arsenal went ahead and lost the next game. But that's just the truth. And all those momentum and the hype that they got from beating United is just gone in a second. But who do you guys play next week or this weekend?
Western, was it West Brom?
Uh,
No, not West Brom. Who do we play?
you guys play Aston Villa at home.
Villa at home, right? Yeah, they're not in good form themselves after the last 3 weeks. So
Let's
hope
just see
coming
what
for
happens.
him.
I just hope we get into the top 10 this week. But I'd also say we played one game less than you guys, so and
Yeah,
we're only like
that's
what
all
5
right.
points behind. So if we win that game, we'd be only 2 points behind you guys. So all's not lost. So we'll see what happens.
And Nitin, last words from you.
No, I think we captured everything perfectly. So as a fan, the only thing that I hope for is consistency going forward. Like if we can replicate this intensity, this performance against some of the lower sides in the division, then we should be good for the season.
Okay. Okay, fine. I think that's it. That pretty much wraps up the podcast/YouTube video. Please do like, share, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. And don't forget to listen to the podcast. It'll be out either today or tomorrow. And check out the previous episode, which we covered about Valencia's struggles. Thank you so much, guys, for watching
Hey,
and
one
listening.
quick, before we end, I just wanted to talk about this quote from Sairam after the
Yeah.
game.
Yeah.
About Ole's tactics.
Okay.
I don't think it was about.
Let's
I don't
go.
think it was about Ole's tactics. I remember saying something about.
He's expecting two fullbacks to be like wingers. One cannot cross, one cannot move until you show him a burger from McDonald's.
That's true. That's true.
Oh,
Luke Shaw.
Nice ending.
brilliant. What a way to
But,
end the show. What a way to end the show.
We'll end it on that. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Sairam. Thank you so much, Nitin. And thank you so much to my host, Murli. And thank you all for listening and watching. See you guys later. We are out. Peace.
Yes, guys. Bye
Bye
bye.
guys.